Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. So much going on, so much to talk about. Don Jr. was on Newsmax, and I want to talk about this, okay? And he was talking in a very serious way about the vice presidential pick for President Trump in this second term. And, you know, vice presidential picks in the past elections, those of you that have listened to me over the 30 plus years I've been doing this now. I can't believe it, Kathy. Over 30 years I've been broadcasting. I know, right? But every presidential election that I've covered, I never get involved in these vice presidential picks because no one votes for the vice president until now. No one votes for the vice. Well, no, people are going to vote for Trump. The vice president doesn't matter so far as people voting for Trump. But what I mean is,
I think it matters now because they're looking for the successor to Trump.
That was the rest of my sentence.
Yeah, so that's a little different.
We've been married a long time, Kathy and I, 27 years, so we finish sentences of each other all the time. But this time, it is important because the person that becomes the vice president will most likely become the nominee in 2028 and be the second MAGA president if they want that. Vice presidents, though, can be more important than you realize. I mean, look at Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney was behind that whole WMD lie with Bush and Iraq. So vice presidents are important. But this one...
Yeah, and look at Mike Pence.
Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, but this one in advance is important because Trump only has one term left. So who he picks is likely to be the next president after Trump. So it is more important to talk about in advance. And, you know, we did a poll on my YouTube channel a couple days ago about Vivek Ramaswamy. And let me read the results of this poll. And this was after Ramaswamy had endorsed President Trump. And remember, he spoke at Trump's first New Hampshire rally. And we just asked a simple question. Should Vivek be the VP to Trump? And over 2,700 have responded to the poll. Over 2,700. And that's more than most of the polls you see on national television. Most of the polls you see on national television are 700 to 900 people surveyed, okay? This is over 2,700. 38% say yes, Vivek should be Trump's VP. 62% said no. 62% said no. And you guys, I'm not going to go through my whole thing with Vivek Ramaswamy, but you guys know I'm not a big fan of his. I got a lot of problems, but he's endorsed Trump. He's out there campaigning. But if Vivek was on the top of Trump's list to be his running mate, which I don't think he was, but he blew it the other night. When he went out, when President Trump brought Vivek Ramaswamy up on stage in New Hampshire, it was after Ramaswamy had dropped out. It was so he could do a public endorsement. Mm-hmm. And Vivek did two things that I think did him in with Trump. One, he talked way too long.
When put that guy in front of a mic, he can't control himself.
Yeah, when Trump brings somebody up to the microphone, they're not supposed to talk more than a minute. And he talked for a long time. And then after he was done, he went to the back of the stage and tried to have a private conversation with Trump. It was very bizarre. And then when he walked off stage and Trump came back, there was this chant, Veep, 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 or VP, VP,
yeah,
VP, VP.
Started.
Well, I believe that Vivek's people, his campaign or Vivek himself, put those people in the audience to start that chant. And when he left the stage and that VP, VP chant was going on, Trump didn't say to the crowd the kind of thing he normally says was, oh, well, you think Vivek would make a good VP? What do you think? Oh, all right. Yeah, I mean, I'll think about that. He didn't do that. He ignored the chant. And I told you guys weeks ago that Vivek would not be the pick. Watch me be wrong now because I'm saying he's not going to be. Watch him pick him today. But I said Vivek is not going to be the pick for a lot of reasons, but one of them is when you're running for president, you don't want your running mate to be someone who could upstage you. And Vivek, that stunt that he pulled, hogging all the time, and that chant in the audience, if you notice, when that was 2 nights ago in New Hampshire, Trump spoke in New Hampshire last night, Vivek was not there.
I think it was kind of that Sarah Palin moment, maybe.
Yeah, when she got weird.
When Trump had her speak, and she was a little over the top, and then you never saw her again. So maybe that's what's happening here with that. I'm sure people have told him. I'm sure he's aware himself, but have said to him, you know, you don't want this guy by your side. He'll totally try to take over and hog all the media, and he'll make it about him, and he'll spend the whole time trying to secure his future.
That's right.
I think he's good for Trump as long as Trump can rein him in and keep him on a short leash.
All we need him to do is go out there and tell his young supporters to vote Trump. That's it. So Don Jr. was on Newsmax today and was talking in a very serious way about the VP pick on Newsmax. And he talked about it at great length, but I pulled up just the clip towards the end. And this name has been brought up before, and it may sound far-fetched, but Don Jr. and Eric are very tight with their dad, and they're involved in all the political discussions. So when Don Jr. is talking about the vice presidential pick and he names a name or two, that's not just like some pundit on TV that's got to give an answer to fill the time. Don Jr. is telling us the conversations that are taking place between him and his dad and Eric and the campaign team. So this is Don Jr. on Newsmax today talking about who the vice presidential pick could be.
The Republicans in Washington, D.C. are weak. You can have the House, the Senate, and they'll still roll over. It doesn't matter. Is your dad...
Okay, now that's true. That was the end of the previous conversation.
Very true.
You know, I know we have like the slimmest majority in probably the House of Representatives. We got like half a seat majority barely. You know what I mean? I know it's more than half a seat, but it might as well be half a seat. But that's still the majority. It doesn't matter. Why have they not impeached Biden?
Exactly.
Why are they, this thing this week?
They never will.
Yeah.
They're cowards. That's how they are. They've always been that way.
Mike Johnson, the speaker, going along with this continuing budget resolution. Well, they should shut down the government. But anyway.
But what do you think happens? He came in so strong, and all these things, convictions and all these things, we're going to this, we're going to that, and then nothing. Why do you think
it's one of two things? They're bribed and bought off, or they're blackmailed. It's one or the other, right? It's one or the other.
Or
That's
threatened.
Who knows? Yeah. I mean,
I'd add that to the mix. It happens every damn time.
When I first saw Mike Johnson, I told you guys, I don't trust this guy. He's too polished. His hair's too perfect. And he's out of nowhere, and now he's speaker.
It seems to be, though, a universal. The Democrats they play dirty. I mean, they play dirtier than anybody you can imagine. Oh, yeah. And they just wield so much control over our party. And I would love to know what's behind all that.
Well, people, the main problem is when people go to Congress, most of the people that get into the federal government are like DeSantis and Nikki Haley. They go in it to get rich, which is the same reason Biden went into it, right? And so
they're elevated by all the donors, so they have to do what the donors say, no matter what. They're puppets.
And that's what most of it is. And the second problem is that most of the members of Congress are men. They go to Washington. Their wives are back home in the district, and they have the honeypots. Remember, Madison Cawthorn was talking about that last week. We did a show on that. All right. So anyway, let me get back to the Don Jr. And he's talking about his dad's VP pick.
The Republicans in Washington, D.C. are weak. You can have the House, the Senate, and they'll still roll over.
Don, is your dad serious about Tucker Carlson? Are those rumors serious?
I would imagine, listen, that's clearly, it would be on the table, right? I mean, they're very friendly. I think they agree on virtually all of these things. They certainly agree on stopping the never-ending wars. And so, I would love to see that happen. And, that would certainly be a contender.
Ben Carson, those rumors legit?
Ben's great. I mean, what a great American, someone who was just steadfast and loyal throughout all of the insanity of the last years. I'd love to see that. And Ben's almost too nice for politics. That may be the only problem. Can you withstand the insanity that's in there? I'd love to see a Ben Carson in there.
That might be a good thing. But no way Nikki Haley.
Well, that's my opinion. I don't make these decisions, but I don't think that's currently really on the table.
But your father listens to you. Your father listens to you, his family, maybe more than anyone else. That opinion matters.
I've been pretty involved in the political game for quite some time, and I think, more importantly, I actually, let's say live with the base. I hang out with the base. Those are my people. Those are my friends. I'm not, the New York City rubber chicken dinner, like charity circuit guy. Like, I hunt and fish and travel with real Americans, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of where they're at.
Okay. Now, this part here is important. If you go to any of the Trump events, Don Jr. and Eric, they hang out. They float around in the crowd. You are likely to meet them if you go to an event, a rally or a speech or something. And one thing I've noticed about Don Jr. and Eric, and those of you that have seen them at events, they ask people questions all the time. And what those questions are on the spot opinion polls of what the rank and file MAGA people think about all these things. Okay. And if you notice, he immediately said Nikki Haley's out. We know Ben Carson's out. And Ben Carson, everybody likes him, but he's like asleep.
Well, I don't
Tucker
think
Carlson,
who was interviewing him?
One of the guys on Newsmax.
Yeah, he didn't give him good names to work with there.
Nobody
he named is going to happen.
Oh no, Tucker Carlson.
I don't see that.
I'm not saying Tucker Carlson is going to be vice president, but Tucker Carlson is going to have a very senior role. Now
I could see him being an advisor,
he already is a senior advisor.
He definitely will have a role, but I don't see the VP.
I would not be surprised. I'll tell you, though, the thing about Tucker, okay? President Trump needs two things in the people around him, whatever job they have in the cabinet, in the White House, vice president, secretary, a staffer. He needs two things. One, he needs people that are going to tell him the truth about things. And if you remember, during COVID, Tucker Carlson didn't think that Trump was doing everything he should do, and Tucker Carlson did something which is insane. Tucker Carlson has a house in Palm Beach right up the street from Mar-a-Lago. Tucker Carlson got, and President Trump was at Mar-a-Lago. Tucker Carlson got in his car, unannounced. He drove to Mar-a-Lago, drove up to the gate, and said, "I'm Tucker here to see President Trump." And President Trump let him in, and he told him that he should be doing this, that, and the other thing, a whole list of things. And Trump did it. He took the advice.
Well, what did he tell him to do?
He didn't think he was doing enough. It's been a couple years, so I don't remember all the details of it. But he didn't think he was doing enough in certain areas.
I think he wanted him to close more, so that's not good.
He did everything Tucker told him to do. So that means he's got. The other thing that Trump needs is loyalty, somebody that he could trust. And now today, everyone's talking about Elise Stefanik. Off the top of my head, Gerald Ford doesn't count because he got appointed by Nixon when Spiro Agnew had to resign. But presidents and vice presidents typically don't come out of the House of Representatives. In fact, I don't know if it's ever happened that a president's come out of the House of Representatives. What's happening a lot, you see these names floated around, and the reason these names get floated around is the Trump team leaked names out to get a discussion going to gauge public opinion.
Or maybe she leaked it out.
No, I don't think she leaked it out because of the way it came out today. I saw it early this morning when I first woke up. I don't think she leaked this out. No, I think the first place I saw it was in the Gateway Pundit. I don't think she would leak it there. I think this came out of the Trump campaign. And they want to gauge public opinion. And out of everyone, if you guys think about this now, out of everyone that has been named as a possible running mate, there were only two. Ramaswamy, now I know we got a lot of Vivek people in the audience because I hear from you guys, but you saw my poll. Now, that poll I did on my YouTube channel community page, and over 60% said no to Vivek, okay? And I think that poll is pretty accurate. I think it's about a 60-40 split on Vivek in the MAGA movement. That's not good enough. It's not going to be him. Out of every name that has been brought up, the two that everyone in MAGA agrees on, Tucker Carlson and Noem from South Dakota. My guess would be it's going to be one of those two.
It should be Kristi Noem.
Kristi Noem
That's who I would love to see.
Kristi Noem is the favorite, I think. And also Tucker Carlson, I don't think we want him working for Trump because Tucker Carlson is finishing up his dispute with Fox. Okay, what Fox has done to Tucker is a very nasty thing. There's litigation going on, and we haven't got any leaks out in this litigation. He, as far as I know, I'm sure I'll get comments telling me this is not true. If you tell me it's not true, give me the article or the source that says it's not true. Fox News still has not fired him and are still paying him. And they've been trying to clamp him down so that he couldn't go and work somewhere else until after the election was over. And Tucker Carlson had a clause in his contract that he can do things so long as he is not compensated for it. So all this business he's been doing on Twitter X has been for like non-comp. It's free. It's called, he's been, maybe it's been costing him money because he has a staff that he's paying for with his Fox News salary that he's still getting. But what Tucker is doing right now is setting up an entirely new media operation. Okay. And that's going to be very important. He's setting up an entire online media operation, and other conservatives have tried to do this over the years, but nothing really has panned out well, right? I mean, Breitbart's very good, but they don't have, since they lost Andrew Breitbart, they don't have a personality like Tucker, right? So there's not, I know Megyn Kelly does her thing, but she's in with DeSantis and she's wishy-washy. There hasn't been someone like Tucker Carlson in the new media, right, to take on the establishment corporate media. And I think it's more important for Tucker to be kind of like a silent advisor to Trump and start this new media thing that he's doing and be a totally independent new media operation that he's got going on. These interviews he does are amazing.
I would like to see him do a show like Megyn Kelly and have like Tucker Carlson Tonight, or rename it, and do a show. And if he can't earn money, he can monetize it, but to pay his staff.
Yeah.
Because he'd get tons of views. And then once his contract is over, he can start paying himself.
If it's ever over.
But I would love to see him do like a regular show, not just interviews, where he's commenting nightly on what's happening in the news. Because I don't mind interviews, but they go on a long time, and not everybody he interviews I'm interested in. And I know he does tweet things and comment on things, but I just would like to see a show back.
Yeah, and this thing with Elise Stefanik,
like Megyn Kelly does every day. She does like a show commenting,
like he used to do on Fox.
Right, I'd love to see him do that again.
Like Elise Stefanik, Doug TenNapel, Doug in Exile on YouTube, which I like Doug a lot. Doug in Exile, his real name's Doug TenNapel. He's an animator, and he animated some of the cartoons that our daughter watched growing up. Like he worked on Cat Dog and stuff like that. And he's very, very good. And he was talking today about Stefanik and how loyal she is. We have in Congress, we have wimps. Okay, we have wimps. And Elise Stefanik is one of like maybe 3 people that you can trust to stand up to these. Elise Stefanik, Matt Gaetz, and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And what about that woman that talked about her sex life at the church?
Oh, yeah, I just forgot her name.
What's
yeah,
her name? Moss or something?
Oh, no.
What's her? She's good too.
I know her name, and it just escaped me as you said. I hate when that happens.
She went after Hunter.
Okay, so we've got four people in Congress that are attack dogs that stand up and bark back at these people. We really cannot afford to lose Elise Stefanik. Okay, we cannot afford to lose Elise Stefanik. If we had 10 or 15 people like her and Marjorie Taylor Greene, it'd be different. But we can't afford to lose her in the Congress. We have a slim majority now. The whole House is up, and we're going to gain a lot of seats. We're going to have a pretty large majority. But I got to tell you, the way that Mike Johnson has behaved, I'm very disappointed in him. And nothing indicates to me that if we had a 100-seat majority in the House of Representatives, that Mike Johnson would do anything different.
No, they're all weaklings.
Well, like this thing with the government, they got to fix this. The government can't shut down on Friday. The government shuts down every Friday for the whole weekend. This last weekend, it was shut down for 3 days because Monday's a federal holiday. Martin Luther King Day was last month. So, this idea, when the government shuts down, all the essential functions work, right? Everyone gets paid, the military's taken care of, all this stuff. What doesn't get funded when the government shuts down are all those donor earmarks that they bribe congressmen with. Those don't go through. That's why they panic. They should shut down the government. In fact, I believe that Mike Johnson, because the House of Representatives controls all the federal money. They control the Treasury, right? Mike Johnson should shut down the entire federal government until these federal cases, these kangaroo cases against Trump are dropped. You know, I mean, that's the way it is. And so what? Who cares? And I don't know a single conservative, anytime government shutdowns come up, and they always come up with every president, right? I don't know of a single conservative, I'm not talking about Congress people, I'm talking about like me or you guys listening. I don't know of a single conservative who ever said, don't shut the government down. Don't shut the government. All conservative voters believe, shut it down. And you know, one of the reasons that they fight so hard to keep it open, the main reason is the donors, right, getting their money. But the secondary reason is, in Washington, they're afraid that if the government is shut down for weeks and weeks and weeks, people will say, well, it's been shut down for 6 weeks or 6 months and nothing's changed. Maybe we don't need all this government, right?
No, exactly.
So the real panic over the government shutdown is that people will wake up and say, hey, we don't need it. So I would be surprised if it was Elise Stefanik. I would be surprised. I think Kristi Noem is at the top, and my guess would be her. I think Trump really needs a woman because they're making such a big deal about the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And they're going to make abortion a big issue. And believe it or not, even though there was no major protest when Roe v. Wade was overturned, a lot of women that are conservative are likely to vote for Trump. That's an issue with them. And I think it would help to have a woman, especially a good-looking woman that like can get pregnant, as you know what I mean, not a Hillary Clinton type. You know what I mean? Who could tell women, hey, it's okay. All right, it's okay. I'm with that. You should be with that. I think I think that would be pretty effective on the campaign trail. One last thing though, whoever the vice president, this is going to be the first presidential election that any of us have ever lived through when there's not been a debate. There's not going to be a debate between Biden and Trump, and there will not be
not.
No, and there won't be a debate between Kamala and whoever the nominee is either. And the reason there won't be any debates is because Biden and Kamala, how are they going to win a debate? They have no hope. No, it'd be hopeless for them. And I think what I'm hoping is that there are no debates, and this becomes the new norm. Because the reason debates became a thing is because when television was new and Nixon, Kennedy, and all that stuff, that's when debates became a thing. And what they really became were television rating events. And now there's so much media out there that by the time the debate happens, you've heard all the candidates say everything. And I cannot imagine any debate at this point with all the candidates are overexposed now, right? It's back in those olden days, even through the 90s, you didn't have a situation where these people were questioned. Now, by the time the debate comes around, you've probably seen whatever campaign it is, you've probably seen them speak for 1,000 hours on TV or online or on Twitter or on YouTube or something. So it's really a meaningless thing. And the debates are always loaded against the Republicans because the way the Democrats operate. Remember CNN? They gave the questions in advance to Hillary Clinton so she could rehearse. And then there was I think it was the ABC debate. It was one of the network debates where they also, the moderator was communicating with Hillary Clinton prior to the debate. You know,
and then when you had Barack Obama that actually told
that's right,
Chris Wallace
Candy Crawley
what to ask her to go to her next page, or
he told her what page the answers were on to the question she was asking him that he wasn't supposed to know.
Everybody knows what's going on.
So the debates are always biased against the Republicans. The commentators are always weighted against the Republicans. And it's destructive for Republicans to get involved in these televised debates anyway.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, you guys let us know in the comments, what do you think about Stefanik, Noem, and Tucker? And do you agree that Vivek is out? And his behavior the other night, I think, is why he wasn't with Trump and New. Now, that doesn't mean he's not going to be with Trump on the campaign trail moving forward. And Trump, he took a break today because today is the funeral of Melania's mother. And But he's going to have rallies all weekend long, he said, in New Hampshire. And we may see Vivek at some of these events over the weekend. I would not be surprised.
Well, we'll see. And if we don't see Vivek, then you'll know it was because of the way he acted in New Hampshire that it upset Trump.
Well, but when Trump...
Like I said, like Sarah Palin spoke and looked like a lunatic.
Yeah, she did.
And you never saw... Bye-bye. You never saw her again. So, we'll see.
That was... Well...
Because Trump, he'll cut somebody loose like no problem.
Oh, yeah. But the way he behaved the other night is why he wasn't at the event last night. No doubt.
That's a guy who absolutely loves a microphone. Mm-hmm. You put a microphone in front of him, he could talk for 6-7 hours straight and keep on going. I mean, he just loves, definitely has an ego.
Yeah, that's right.
He has a big ego.
Yeah. But I have a microphone in front of my face like half the day.
Yeah, but that's your job. I mean, that's your job. And I don't think you'd be going all day and all night. If somebody, if you were at some event and you were introducing Trump, would you go on for 20 minutes? And while he had to stand there behind you?
I don't showboat. In fact,
no, you don't.
Steve and I...
Having a job on the radio is different than what he did.
Steve and I, we do appearances sometimes, and sometimes people want me to get up and speak. I don't do it unless I have to. I don't really like doing it. No,
you're actually very shy. What people don't realize when you're off the radio.
I don't talk as much when I'm not broadcasting.
No, you don't.
No.
I mean, you're just kind of.
But I talk hours
more quiet.
Well, do you want to? That's what I do for work. Do you want to do your work when you're not working all the time?
No.
Exactly. Listen, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Don't go anywhere. We are going to be back right after this. Are you a teenager who wants to unlock their full potential? You can. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find in the book from author Charles E. Tyler, 10 Mindsets to Embrace for Teenage Success, Happiness, and a Determined Path in Life. Available on Amazon. This must-read and life-changing book is your guide to rocking the teenage years with confidence and clarity. It's filled with real-life, no-nonsense advice. You'll discover how to navigate the twists and turns of adolescence. Have you ever wondered how successful people make it look so easy? 10 Mindsets to Embrace reveals their secrets. You'll also find interactive exercises that can boost your emotional intelligence, find your zen, and supercharge your self-awareness, and discover the real you. Author Charles E. Tyler's 10 Mindsets to Embrace is a conversation, a guide, and your personal coach. It's perfect for teens who are ready to challenge the norms, make their mark, and become their best selves. And it makes a great gift for parents, teachers, and school counselors to share with their students. 10 Mindsets to Embrace for Teenage Success, Happiness, and a Determined Path in Life is available on Amazon. Order your copy right now and take that first step to the success and happiness that you've dreamed of. There's no better way to start your day than with a delicious hot cup of coffee. And when you're looking for premium, freshly roasted coffee that's delivered directly to your doorstep, you need to visit itsjustforyou.com. That's It's4U. Itsjustforyou.com has a huge range of flavors like mocha, pumpkin spice, caramel, cinnamon hazelnut, French vanilla, and that's just the beginning. Whether you prefer your favorites or want to try out sample packs, the choice is yours. Savor their delectable blends, including breakfast blend, Italian roast, blonde, and that's just the beginning. Every batch of beans is custom roasted only after you place your order, ensuring the freshest taste possible. Once roasted, they're promptly shipped to your location, ready for you to savor and enjoy. Order today and enjoy free shipping on all orders in the United States. That's right, free shipping on all U.S. orders. It's justforyou.com. That's It's4U. Freshness guaranteed. It's justforyou.com. Take a journey of self-discovery with the new book from author Darren Charles, Retro Ride, available on Amazon. Retro Ride takes readers on a voyage into your past to uncover answers for your future. It's an experience guiding you through a list of tasks that propel you to revisit key moments, people, and decisions in your life. Embrace the risks and the rewards as Retro Ride offers a platform to relive, refresh, and rethink your experiences. You'll learn how to reframe your future and gain a deeper understanding
beginning of your journey. Retro Ride will help you confront key events like first loves, life-changing locations, and unresolved family issues. It's your chance to face the demons we try to bury and become the characters we've always dreamed of being. Retro Ride offers a new vision and inspiration and is a tool to mine your past, extract valuable lessons, and reshape yourself going forward. Each Retro Ride is unique, tailored to your experiences and ambitions. You'll learn to shape, track, and personalize your journey. Whether you're seeking an emotional journey or a mental well-being cleanse, Retro Ride is for everyone. Order your copy of Retro Ride from author Darren Charles on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Share your own Retro Ride and experiences at yourretroride.com. Start your Retro Ride today and redefine your path forward. Retro Ride from author Darren Charles on Amazon. Are you a freedom lover, a family person, a foodie, or just someone who enjoys a good story and a good time? Then add Coffee Table Chronicles to your podcast playlist. Hosted by husband and wife team Keith and Lindsay, they discuss the latest in politics, movies, history. No topic is off limits. They give their personal opinions on everything, and opposing opinions are welcome too. Coffee Table Chronicles is your go-to podcast for engaging, spirited discussions, the holidays, animals, survival tips, and the everyday joys and challenges of life. It's all there. This is a conversation and community you want to be a part of. Coffee Table Chronicles is on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Start listening right now. Coffee Table Chronicles with host Keith and Lindsay. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can listen too. Add Coffee Table Chronicles with Keith and Lindsay to your podcast playlist right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So this guy, Paul Ryan, he's the worst.
Oh, God, yeah.
I never liked this guy.
Him and Mitt Romney.
Oh, no, yeah. And Paul Ryan went on CNBC. He's talking about Nikki Haley. We'll play them. We'll talk about it.
Look, a lot's going to happen between now and November. Nothing's linear in politics these days. There's a zigzag, so who knows is the point. Biden is so weak that even Donald Trump pulls up ahead of him. But look at Nikki Haley's polling. I mean, she beats him by like 12 points in head-to-head polls. So I would prefer a candidate who I think would be a good president and who I know is going to win. And by the way, give us more seats in Congress. That's Nikki Haley. Well, obviously, my preferences aren't bubbling through the Republican Party right now. But let's just wait and see what happens in New Hampshire and see if this inevitability narrative, which has credence coming out of Iowa, if it sticks past New Hampshire. And if Nikki Haley wins New Hampshire, then I think we got a race in our hands. So I want to wait and see what happens there.
Okay. Now, I don't know what poll he's talking about, but the latest poll that is, wow. And it's on my Twitter, if you guys follow me on Twitter, the latest poll out of New Hampshire, Trump is over 16 points, almost 17 points ahead of her, and that's a liberal poll.
No, he's saying Nikki Haley is polling better against Biden than Trump is, 12 points.
Our dog is polling better than Biden. I mean, what does that mean?
I have never seen a poll where Nikki Haley is polling better than Trump over, but that he's saying that Nikki Haley has a better chance of beating Biden than Trump.
Now,
that's what he was talking about.
If you're polling Republicans, in a primary, you typically poll Republicans. So if you poll Republicans, Nikki Haley versus Biden, even Nikki Haley is going to outperform. I mean, that's Goebbels propaganda right there.
Yeah, anybody can manipulate a poll to however they want.
No, President Trump is over 16 points ahead of Nikki Haley in the latest poll, and it's a liberal poll, and he's over 16 points in New Hampshire.
She's not going to win New Hampshire. She's not going to win anything.
This is what they think.
This is going to be a sweep.
Well, this is what they think in New Hampshire, okay? The governor of New Hampshire, Sununu, his dad worked for Bush 1, so he's with the Bushes.
He's ensconced.
And they think he's got the political machine to turn people out to vote in favor of Nikki Haley. And I got a couple things about that. I watched last night when President Trump spoke in New Hampshire. He was a little late getting there because of these court cases with this lunatic Eugene Carroll in New York, and also the weather. And I saw the people waiting in line. They had a blizzard. And it was snow and sleet and cold.
Yep.
And here we are in Florida in shorts and T-shirts, don't have socks on, and riding my Vespa, my Magascreen, and I'm watching these people. They're standing in line all day in snow and ice and sub-zero temperatures. So who's going to turn out in that kind of weather for Nikki Haley?
I think people, and I said this on the other show, are absolutely fed up with the government, with the liberal media. They have perspective now. They can look back, and they are realizing that everything they've said about this man is a lie, that they have been, and they're pissed. They're pissed off. So that's driving a lot of it too. It's a love for Trump and a loyalty for Trump. But I think you are going to see, I think Iowa was just a small fraction of what you're going to see in this primary and in the final election. I think you are going to see, I think he's going to get 90 million votes, maybe 100 million in the main election. I think people are so fed up with the liberal media and the lying, and they see these court things. This E. Jean Carroll woman is a lunatic. She lives like in the woods or something, has some house in the woods. Somebody posted on Twitter.
Not only that, she's
a nut.
She has a house in the woods. She calls the mouse house because she actually has rodents living in her house.
I mean, and Mitt Romney is going around calling Trump a rapist.
Yeah.
I mean, what is wrong with that man? Believe me, the Mormons are not happy with him because I know my best friend's Mormon and she's told me they're not, and she lives in Utah, so they're not happy.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
He is an evil person, and for him to say things like that when he knows deep down that's not true. He knows that. He's just so full of jealousy because he sees Trump as beneath him, and he accomplished what he never could. He's just so jealous.
And these
people are disgusting.
This E. Jean Carroll case, Kathy and I looked up it's a Law & Order SVU episode. Yeah. We watched this last year.
Kevin Pollak's in it.
Yeah, and
it's good.
I was Googling this morning because I was going to pull up some of the audio to play, and it's a particular episode from many years ago. And that show's been on for like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find the listing online today when I was looking for the episode. They've suppressed it. Like those identity blockers where they bury things it's been buried on the internet. But last year we watched that SVU episode. It is
almost word for word.
It's a carbon copy of E. Jean Carroll and the sex assault claim that she makes in the SVU
in the episode, Kevin Pollak plays a judge.
Yes,
and he said that there was a woman that was murdered. They're blaming him, and I don't want to get into the whole thing of it. He said she had a rape fantasy, and she had emailed him what her fantasy was, and he said her fantasy was that I confront her, that I follow her into her dressing room at Bergdorf Goodman's.
Yeah.
And rape her in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And it gets into more details. And it was like, obviously, she lifted that storyline from that show and either consciously or subconsciously came up with that. I mean, do you really believe, but liberals believe this crap? They're so stupid.
Well, because they want to believe
You really believe Trump would follow this woman into a dressing room and have his way with her? It's just ridiculous. It's on a TV show, for God's sake.
Not just a dressing room in a busy department store. And President Trump has always been famous. He was one of the most famous men in New York City. Nobody saw that.
It's just absurd, Brian.
He's
just getting so railroaded.
E. Jean Carroll, I don't know if she's lying, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. She is insane. You can see it in her face.
You think she believes it happened?
She might. She is insane. And I'm sure you guys have seen, if you haven't, look it up on Twitter. It's all over Twitter. I may have retweeted it when she gives a tour of her mouse house that has rodents living in it, and she's named the rodents out of the woods. She's insane. I know some people will say, what do you mean she's not lying? I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying that she is insane. And a lot of times people that are suffering from severe mental illness, they believe these things.
Look at all the people
happened.
that admit to committing crimes that never do. You see it on police shows all the time. People come in, they're mentally ill, and they admit to being a serial killer.
She's gone.
And the cops are like, they're just they're not it, and they're just, they think it's true, but it's not true.
But, the thing in New York, you can see what's going on. This judge in this E. Jean Carroll case yesterday with Trump was threatening to remove him from the court. He was going to remove Trump from the courtroom. Today, Trump's not there because of Melania's mother's funeral, but he had a conflict and was yelling at Abba today, his Trump's attorney today. You're dealing with extremely liberal Democrats in New York City, just like this judge in the real estate case. They hate him. It's all kangaroo courts. It's like those Democrat courts in the Deep South during the Civil Rights Movement that acquitted people that were clearly guilty of lynchings and things like this. It's the same type of Democrat court.
And they're hanging out in their New York circles and having dinner parties and talking about this with their very rich friends that are all connected. And they're watching every move they make. They're not going to give this guy a break because if they do, then they're going to be cut out of the social loop. Well, they won't be out in the Hamptons hanging out at their friends' houses anymore. Remember that guy said it's all about the dinner invitations.
It's funny you say that because Alina Habba, President Trump's attorney, was questioning E. Jean Carroll in this case today. And she asked her specifically, E. Jean Carroll, has your standing in New York social circles increased since this?
Absolutely. I'm sure.
Oh, the judge did not like that.
No, that's exactly what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
But you see her, you see all the pictures of her on TV, the videos. Tell me she's not a crazy lady.
It's always been like that in New York. I mean, if you watch,
she's like Governor Whitmer crazy,
like the Vanderbilts.
Worse,
people that had. If you watch the Gilded Age or read books about the Gilded Age, the people that had the new money, they really had a hard time getting into society because they weren't connected to the Pilgrims.
White trash with money is what they treated them.
Look at Molly Brown and all that, and it was and everything they did. Even Anderson Cooper's ancestor, one of the Vanderbilt women, was about trying to get into that New York society. It's still going on today, and I promise you're right. She is getting more dinner invitations. So that guy said that I can't remember his name. He said it's all about the dinner invitations. I bet you she's getting more dinner invitations than she ever has. And she's holding court, and people, it's a status thing now to
come and kiss her ring at the parties.
To have her come to your house.
Oh, yeah.
You invite people, you're not going to believe who I invited. E. Jean Carroll's going to be here. Oh, holy crap. I definitely want to go then.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. That's what's driving a lot of this, plus their Trump hatred. And they don't mind destroying somebody's life because they convince themselves it's true and that he's a horrible person. But that's what they do. They're trying to destroy his life, and we just have to keep praying and praying for him because he is getting older, and he's not a robot. And there's going to come a point where, no matter what, it's going to start wearing on him. I mean, the guy is not, infallible to these things, and not immune to these things. So we have to pray for him to be strong and to hang in there, because look at the guy, the pace he's keeping up. When he first ran. He was 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. He's almost 80. God bless him. And I see him going from rally to court to this, flying. And the stress alone, that was his wife's mother's died. He had to go to a funeral. I mean, who has a schedule like this? Mm-hmm. Whose life is this crazy?
Well,
it's nuts.
In the first campaign, he was, flying around to all these rallies. But he didn't have all these court cases.
And of course.
That's dragging him away. It's not just that the cases drag him away. He's got legal.
There's so many cards up in the air, Brian.
He has a legal team on each one of these cases, and he has to meet with them and strategize.
I mean, your head would be spinning. I know
how he does it.
I know he's used to handling a lot of things at once because of his business acumen. But
this is a lot.
This is a lot, even for him, I think.
When at the level,
and they want to destroy him. They don't care.
At the level he was at with his business, a lot of it was delegation. But now he's got to meet with the different teams for every legal case. He's got to go to these court cases. He's got his mother-in-law's funeral today. He's got all these events and rallies going on. Now there was a story that is happening today. A judge is looking into the Fannie Willis. It's not Fannie. There's no W. Fani. It's Fan. There's no. If there was a W, but a judge is looking into Fannie Willis's corruption, and
let's see if that goes.
She gave over $650,000 to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend and her took very expensive vacations.
I think what's going to happen with that is they're just going to remove her from the case, and they'll implant
they're going to drop
else.
all those charges. All those charges are going to go away. And what I'm really looking forward to is when the details of these vacations come out. You know, the Caribbean cruises. I'm taking one in April. We do a listener cruise every year. And I have a nice cabin, but I bet you Fannie had a nicer cabin than I have. Okay.
Yeah, she probably had that 2-3 level cabin that you toured once.
Yeah, they
has its own private balcony.
These cruise ships
patio area.
These cruise ships have penthouses in them that are $40,000-$50,000 a week on these cruise ships. I have a very nice cabin. I have a large cabin because it's my yearly vacation. So I go first class, but I don't have the $40,000 a week suite. And then she went to Napa Valley. That's some of the most expensive vacationing you can do because, if you and I went to Napa Valley, Kathy, we would rent a car and stop off and have the free wine samples. I promise you that's not what Fannie Willis and her boy toy did. So when they and she did that with government money.
Well, I hope they do an audit. And the one good thing, though, that Trump has.
She's in big trouble.
Yeah, the one thing Trump has good, other than us, is his family. His family seem to really support him and be there for him.
Yeah.
Other than Ivanka, she's kind of off doing her social thing now. She wants to get back into her social.
I don't blame her.
Circles. That's okay. He's got his 2 sons, and he's got his wife and Barron, and he's got his family there helping him, supporting him, and I'm sure they are supporting him no matter what through all of this. So he has a strong family to help him, and he has us. And I know when he goes to these events and meets people, it gives him courage, and it reminds him of why he's doing all this. I just really hope once he's in that, all the positive changes he makes stick. And because you worry, then you get some other jerk that comes in like Biden and just reverses everything day one and things are bad again.
Well, it has to be done legislatively, not just executive order, a lot of these things.
Well, that's exactly.
How executive orders are. Now,
right, they're just overturned right away.
Now, one person that, of course, is always with President Trump is Mike Lindell. And a huge announcement. If you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, free shipping on all items at mypillow.com.
That's huge.
No matter how big or how small. If you buy a neck pillow, or you buy a whole new bed set and mattress or anything in between, whatever product you see at mypillow.com, you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, free shipping. You could order 10 mattress toppers, okay? Free shipping. But not only that, okay? You get free shipping plus whatever the special is. Like right now, as an example, the MyPillow 2.0 with the temperature regulating technology that Kathy and I have been sleeping on every night for the last year, and it's a beautiful pillow. You'll never turn the pillow over looking for the cold side again. It's perfect temperature all night long. That pillow is 50% off, right? But it's 50% off and free shipping. So the MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0 is 40% off. So you get the mattress topper for 40% off and free shipping with our promo code Kane, Kane. And that goes for every special at mypillow.com. So Valentine's Day is coming up. This is the time to really load up on your MyPillow products. And this is something that Mike Lindell has done in response to being banned from Fox News. Fox News Channel has banned not just Mike Lindell, but MyPillow advertising, even though he paid them $5.5 million in December alone for advertising. They banned him. Okay, so he's offering this to you guys, those that listen to me on any of my programs, the podcast with Kathy, my YouTube channel, the morning radio show. Whatever you listen to me on, it is free shipping on all MyPillow products with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. We're going to take our last break. When we come back, there's so much more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
The new sci-fi novel from author Tony Travis is now available on Amazon. Keyholes. Keyholes is a journey of discovery. Meet Dr. Alan Messman and his brother Colonel Bryce Messman as they uncover a groundbreaking revelation, a mysterious portal influenced by quantum effects on photons. Join their team on a quest to unravel the secrets hidden behind the keyhole. What lies beyond? A passage to the past, an alternate world, or something beyond our wildest imaginations? Find out when you read Keyholes from author Tony Travis. Follow their journey as it challenges the very nature of reality, intertwining cosmic mysteries with a deep exploration of identity and existence. Every page is a gateway to another layer of mystery, leading to a climax that will leave you questioning the very fabric of our universe. Order your copy of Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon, available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Keyholes from author Tony Travis on Amazon. Planning a trip or vacation in the new year? Make sure your journey starts at Border to Border Travel. At Border to Border Travel, you'll discover the power of efficient packing with their compression packing cubes and underseat luggage. Border to Border Travel will have you traveling in style while optimizing space like you've never done before. Their compact cubes ingeniously compress your essentials, while their underseat luggage is designed for seamless, stress-free journeys. It's perfect for weekend getaways or business trips. With Border to Border Travel, you'll experience the convenience of organized, hassle-free travel. You get the perfect synergy of smart design and durability. Travel smarter, travel lighter, and travel with unmatched ease. Embrace your next adventure with Border to Border Travel, where innovation meets wanderlust. Online at bordertobordertravel.com. That's the number 2, bordertobordertravel.com. Your journey starts today. bordertobordertravel.com. Are you a business owner, a member of a management team, or want to take your career to leadership levels? Then you will want to add the new book from author Stefan Reckert to your must-read list, Management Meets Nietzsche, A Leadership Philosophy, available on Amazon. Management Meets Nietzsche is a journey through Nietzsche's philosophies, reimagined for today's disruptive leadership landscape. In 1884, Nietzsche challenged the value system, and today, this book explores what it takes to be a transformative leader in our modern world. When you read Management Meets Nietzsche, you'll discover how leadership requirements have evolved over 140 years. It blends scientific studies, personal anecdotes, and management literature. It also offers actionable insights for aspiring leaders just like you of any background. The author translates Nietzsche's teachings to modern management, challenging traditional concepts and introducing a fresh perspective on great leadership. Filled with a combination of old virtues, disruptive approaches, and a peek into the future of work, this book will prepare you to embrace innovation. It's also filled with entertaining and eye-opening examples from the author's career. This is a vital resource for anyone who wants to master disruptive thinking and leadership. It's engaging, philosophical, and practical, and perfect for business owners, managers, and anyone who aspires to lead. Management Meets Nietzsche, A Leadership Philosophy from author Stefan Reckert, available on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now and embrace the journey of leadership like never before. Management Meets Nietzsche, A Leadership Philosophy on Amazon. From author Patricia J. Marino comes a book that explores the American experience like never before. We Have All Been the Others, Reflections of a First Generation's Daughter on Belonging, Democracy, and a New American Dream. Available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Drawing from the wisdom of her Sicilian-American father, former Detective Alexander Francis Marino, the author offers universal lessons that resonate with our current American landscape. From confronting hypocrisy to the pursuit of fairness, each chapter unfolds a timeless truth. This unique memoir through history examines the original promise of America through the lens of the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the United States Constitution. We Have All Been the Others invites readers to re-envision a new America. In the words of Langston Hughes, let America be America again. Chapters include Laws Don't Always Equal Right, Call Out Hypocrisy, and Strive to Learn Toughness Through Adversity. Author Patricia J. Marino weaves personal stories with historical insights, exploring the concept of the other and the collective immigrant experience. With this must-read book, you'll embrace our shared heritage, understand our past, and build a more inclusive future. This book is perfect for book clubs and is also a great addition for teachers' classroom reading collection. Order your copy of We Have All Been the Others, Reflections of a First Generation's Daughter on Belonging, Democracy, and a New American Dream. Available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. I want to play this clip. This is President Trump when he left court yesterday with that weirdo E. Jean Carroll case with this out-of-control judge.
So the big take today was that she deleted and destroyed massive amounts of evidence, and we think that both trials should be thrown out because it's ridiculous. They should be thrown out. And I, frankly, am the one that suffered damages. I should be given money, given damages. And that's where that is. And with that being said, I'm heading out to New Hampshire. Thank you very much for being back there.
Okay, now what he's talking about, there's two cases with E. Jean Carroll, right? There's the original accusation, and then she said that he defamed her. You know, that's the case that's going on now. And, you know, when he talks about damages, he's right. But, you know, all these cases, the country deserves damages. And the damages, all these people need to be punished. The judges in these cases need to be removed from the bench and disbarred.
It's an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
And I really think the American people see the injustice happening. Even people that probably didn't like Trump before would never admit it, but I'm sure there are some people that are rational that can see what's going on. And in fact, they polled, now of course Joy Reid will say they're all racist, so it doesn't matter, but they polled the Iowans. So I'm interested to see the polling that goes on in each state as they keep moving on and they get to more diverse states. And they asked them about these trials, and it was like 90% said that they were politically motivated, or a very high number. So everybody knows this. And the thing to remember about Iowa is Iowa was won by Barack Obama. Iowa was flipped by Trump.
Yep.
It was a blue state. He flipped it, and it's solid red now. And so that's important to know. And I really am more interested in this primary than any other primary. And I love when they ask the people these questions. And CNN, of course, the questions they ask the people are all designed to make the people look like lunatics. Mm-hmm. If you look at now, Fox asked people questions too, and they were more rational in the thinking. But CNN, pay attention to the questions they ask people when they're voting in these primaries, and they always are set up to make them look like they're nuts. Yeah. But the majority of people, they had asked us on Fox about the court cases, said that it's a witch hunt. And I think most people see that, and there is zero proof. It is insane in this country that a woman can make an accusation against you, and there is zero proof or evidence, and that she can get all this money rewarded to her, and they can say he's a rapist civilly, but not criminally. That just makes no sense.
And
it's like they're making up their own new rules,
and they can go back decades. You know,
it's crazy.
Like. The birth rate's very low, right? The birth rate is about 3.6 million babies a year, which is 1 million less than illegals have been crossing the border since Biden's been in office. The birth rate's down for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons it's down is I think guys that are heterosexual are afraid to have sex. You know, you could be accused of something like Trump is years later with no evidence and your life is destroyed. Look at this guy.
I don't know if that would stop guys. I think it's more that there's guys are just more feminine, and it seems like there's more gay guys than
There's ever. That too, but this is one of the factors. I mean, look at this guy that's the husband of the Moms for Liberty, right? The Moms for Liberty founder here in Florida, who's on a school board in Sarasota, Florida, her husband was the head of the Republican Party in Florida. They had this weirdo threesome relationship going on.
Yeah, she went back to work yesterday.
Yeah, and
it was on the local news.
The girl from the threesome has accused the husband of rape. This was like weeks ago. He hasn't been arrested. He hasn't been charged by any authorities. He's lost his position with the Republican Party. He's facing all kinds of problems, even though there's been no criminal prosecution. And they're pushing to get his wife thrown off the school board, even if he was guilty of what they say. I don't know why you punish the wife of criminals. I'm not saying he's a criminal, but this new thing of going after a wife of a criminal is bizarre. And this woman,
well, we know why they're going after her
because she founded Moms of Liberty. But
clearly,
but there's no this thing that women should be believed. You know, Harvey Weinstein was a scummy guy, And he's guilty of a lot of the things he was accused of, no doubt. But a lot of these Hollywood women, remember what Trump told Billy Bush? A lot of these Hollywood women, I mean, you go to a guy's hotel. If I got a call from somebody in the radio business, an executive who says, "Oh, I want you to meet me in my hotel room," male
and then
or female.
And then if they answered the door in their bathrobe, would you go in?
No.
I mean,
no, it's bizarre.
on.
It's bizarre.
These women knew exactly what they were walking into.
And everything is, and Donald Trump and the husband of the Moms for Liberty is no Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein or Bill Clinton, okay? And this thing with Trump asking for damages from E. Jean Carroll, there really needs to be something done in his second term to stop this lawfare. One of the big problems we have here is everything in American law is so much based on legal precedent, and they're making all these crazy precedents of prosecuting a president, not just a president. This isn't like a president who's retired and been out of office for 15 years, like something like Bill Clinton or Obama or George W. Bush. This is a guy who's actually the front runner running again, too. This is going to happen in the future, and it's going to become the norm in this country. And this isn't
politics has definitely Trump has
this isn't
changed.
Bolivia.
Trump has changed so much, and he is really not any fault of his own. He has really brought out this very corrupt side of the left that's always kind of been bubbling there, and you've seen little hints of it here and there.
Yeah.
And now it's just full throttle because they feel completely justified in stopping who they deem as their political enemies, no matter what they feel. But one thing I will say to Trump, and I know you probably disagree with me on that, but I think he needs to stop talking about E. Jean Carroll because
he's in court right now with her
because he said something about her. Well, she's nuts, and she's got the law on her side in New York. And the only reason he's back in court with her is because he said something about her, and she's saying he defamed her. He needs to stop talking about this lunatic because she's a crazy person.
Yeah.
And he's going to keep talking about her, and she's going to keep taking him to court. Mm-hmm. Stop talking about her altogether. Let it end and move on because he's got too many things going on right now.
It's not just that, though.
I'm not saying she's right, but I think he needs to stop giving her ammunition to keep going after him. She'll never stop.
It's not just her, though. If she didn't exist, there'd be another case in its place. Okay,
well, he needs to stop mentioning her name.
What's going on in the state of New York? I mean, we've got E. Jean Carroll. They still have that Bragg case involving Stormy Daniels. They got the property case.
I know, it's crazy.
They got all the. How many cases? Is that 3?
Things might fall apart for Fannie.
There's so many. That's in Georgia. There's so many things going on in New York now. Most of what's going on in New York, this is civil stuff. The thing with Fulton County, that's the criminal RICO. That was going to be their big thing. And I'm telling you, these cases are going to be tossed. There's going to be pressure where these cases are going to be tossed. Now, let's see
what the audience thinks. Do you think that they're going to drop all the cases like Brian said?
In Fulton County.
Or do you think what's going to happen is what I've said, that they're just going to replace her with somebody else and continue?
What I'm curious about, if they drop the cases in Fulton County, what happens to Jenna Ellis and these other traders that made deals and started testifying against Trump with their hostage testimony? Are those convictions, because they pled them out, probably still stand? They screwed up. They should have wrote it out.
No, I'm not going to blame them for doing what they did. They were between a rock and a hard place.
Well, they broke them. They did what they did with them was psychological torture. Remember, Jenna Ellis, when she went in for the mugshot, they took her back into the jail with violent prisoners, and it wasn't segregated between men and women. She was back there where the men are, and there was a fight that broke out in the jail. And
that was on purpose.
And the Fulton County Jail is got the poor conditions.
They make them an offer they can't refuse.
Fannie probably
staged the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. All right, now I want to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Your support helps us out a lot, and it most definitely means a lot to us. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode of the program. And remember, Patreon supporters, you have access to commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes. And there's a lot of bonus content that Kathy and I post, both of us post, to the Patreon page that only Patreon supporters have access to. Okay, nobody else has access to it. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, ActicFox, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, Shawna, K-Mac, LeeZep, Rick, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, and John. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. And remember, there is a link in the episode description if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter and take part in getting all those perks and benefits. All right, guys, we are out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy.